Educate yourself. Take in as much information as you can, not junk information. Take in as much valid information as you can. You don't know something, admit it. That's fine. That's brilliant. It means you're growing. If you don't know something and you can say, I don't really know that. Can you tell me more about it? Educate yourself, not only in the ways of the world and things that are going on and new subjects, but educate yourself about yourself. Be willing to ask the questions. Be willing to purchase a couple bundles from the store on vickybaird.com that will help you learn about yourself. Shameless plug there. Well, hi there. Thank you for joining me for this episode, Intuition, Your Success Compass. I'm still bumbling over that a little bit, but that's okay. I love the title. And thank you for your feedback and your reviews on changing the title and the direction. I appreciate that because any transition is scary. I don't care how confident or how much thought has gone into it. It's still a little nerve-wracking to do, and I appreciate the support there. I felt like obviously it was necessary and it was more true to brand. And most importantly, it's just funny to say. And I want the inclusion of intuition in everything that we do. But the reality of it is that intuition development is about paying attention to your everyday life, developing the skills there, and being empowered within yourself. That's where the real intuition development comes from. Yes, it's important to learn about oracle cards, pendulums, moons, earth, and energy movement and chakras and all that stuff. Yeah, that's important. But true intuitive development comes from integrating your soul self with your human self and being pretty practical. And that message is not really out there very much, and I want it to be. So this is why I combined the intuition with a success compass, because your intuition is going to guide you and it is going to speak really loudly once you start listening to yourself. This week, we are going to talk about punctuation. This came up in a session with one of my dearest clients. And I've said before, we laugh a lot in coaching. It's important to have that humor. But we got laughing so hard because admittedly, it was a moment of frustration, loving frustration, but it was a moment of loving frustration for me when I said to her, for goodness sakes, woman, you are living your life like a run-on sentence. There are no commas. There are no semicolons. You haven't put a period in your statement in so long that I don't even know where to breathe around your life. And it was the best analogy because she heard it. And that's what's important, right? It doesn't matter what the words are. It doesn't matter how brilliant of a coach you are or think you are. You're not any good if you can't connect and help the person hear their own selves. And that becomes the success model, right? Because if each of us knows ourselves so well, I may work myself out of a job, but I'll figure out what else to do. I'm resilient that way. So as we were talking about this, she reflected back to me, this has to be a podcast. And this was like 4 months ago, and it's now making it to the roster. And because I thought this is a really good time of year where maybe healed a little bit from the holiday season, and we're rolling into spring, at least here in the Northeast, and the newness and the budding of everything. It's always about being present in our life. It's a little bit easier to do when it's warmer out, at least for me. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. But this presence that's important is applicable here because most of us have experienced a time where you are the run-on sentence. Your life is a run-on sentence. Or Groundhog Day. It's the same thing every day. You're just going through the motions and you're not present. And I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. I can't figure out what to make for dinner. That's probably going to be a lifelong thing some days of the week. But this idea of a run-on sentence, doesn't it just sound exhausting? I mean, do you remember being in English class and getting that paper back saying, where's the punctuation? This could have been 3 different sentences. Time to make a new paragraph, my love. This concept, I feel like, is one that can be applied to every one of our lives at some point or another. And it's also something that's not very judgmental. And that's important when pointing out where life could change or where habits have been created that are no longer serving. If you can point that out to someone in a way that helps them see that they're doing something that's no longer serving, but they're not in trouble for it, or they're not bad for it, or they're not being judged for it. That takes skill, and it's actually one of my greatest skills, I'd like to think. So I'd like to talk about punctuation, and I just picked a few of them because I don't want to drive this home to the point where it becomes annoying. But I correlated the punctuation to skill sets that we need in order to have a fully embraced, joyful life, I believe. Of course, this is all from my perspective and my experience of working with people. The first one we're going to talk about are quotes. So, quotes often show up when we are reflecting back something we've learned, right? Not those annoying air quotes where you're being snarky. These are the quotes that you have where you are reflecting a knowing or a knowledge base that you came to have, or you might cite someone else's quote. And this is about educating yourself. Educate yourself. Take in as much information as you can, valid information, not junk information. Take in as much valid information as you can. You don't know something, admit it. That's fine. That's brilliant. It means you're growing. If you don't know something and you can say, I don't really know that. Can you tell me more about it? Or I will need to look this up because I'm not exactly sure how to process through this. Educate yourself, not only in the ways of the world and things that are going on and new subjects, but educate yourself about yourself. Be willing to ask the questions. Be willing to purchase a couple bundles from the store on vickybaird.com that will help you learn about yourself. Shameless plug there. But learn to quote yourself by quoting what you like, by knowing what you like, by being able to speak of what you like. You won't know that until you spend some time with you, until you have some pause and some quiet in that moment, in that reflection, in that light. One of those words, semicolon. We need to pause, people. Pause. Simply pause. Take a break. Pause. Stop the runaway nonsense. Take a moment. Take a moment to yourself. Take a moment in response to people. Unless you work in the trauma department or an ICU or something of that nature, and you truly are a first responder, gonna need you to pause. Take a breath. Consider. Contemplate. Compose yourself. And then respond. Semicolon. Take a pause. So more and more people are asking me about Magic Mind because I've mentioned it here. And I wanted to give an update to you. I have been on it for 3 months now. And I take it because it has all of the components that I was already taking in other supplements, L-theanine, ashwagandha, turmeric, and it puts it all in one little 2-ounce drink that I think is delicious. And it gives me my B vitamins. As a vegetarian, I really have to make sure that I'm getting those in. And all of this being efficient speaks to my coaching heart. But I wanted to give an update. I have noticed less body aches, and I have also noticed that even though my brain wants to be distracted, I can feel the old patterning there. And yes, I do this work, and I constantly have to redirect my attention diversity brain. And my brain wants to be diverted and wants to go into old distracted behavior. And there's this underlying health that's saying, nope, that's not necessary anymore. And since I eliminated all of the other supplements I was taking, with the exception of my probiotic, I know it's connected to Magic Mind. And I want others to have that feeling. I want you to know that you can support your own physiological self which is definitely going to support your emotional self. And you can also then help your frequency to be increased, because if our physical body is taken care of, our energy field will then be able to expand even more, which is going to help to heighten your intuition. So that's why I've been taking it. And I wanted to give an update because, yes, I am still taking it. I plan to always be taking it because it's the first thing that I have found that didn't make me jittery or give me an upset stomach or create a feeling of frustration because I wasn't getting the results that were promised for the investment. So there's my update for those who have asked. Thank you for asking. I figured I'd cover my bases here. And you can still go to magicmind.co/intuition and use the intuition code, or click on the link in the show notes if that's easier for you. I know that's how I like to follow up on things. And let me know how you're doing on it, because I want to not only support myself, I want to support you in this process. And who doesn't love saying ashwagandha anyway? Question mark. Request from yourself. Ask of yourself. Ask what wants to grow. Ask where you can expand your own knowledge. See previous mention of quotes. Ask others. Ask of the universe. Inquire about the greatness that is you. Learn to be curious, inquisitive, open, tenacious in your wondering, in your pondering of what is your wiring. What is it that you want to do? Who do you want to be? How do you want to bring impact? In what area do you want to create an impact? Where do you want to help? What do you want to learn? Do you want to be creative? Do you want to grow a garden? Would you like to understand the nuances of quilting? Would you be interested in the exploration of space? Do you want to watch some documentaries? Do you want to do a hands-on vacation where you're not just going and hanging out at the pool, which is important, but you're learning while you're there? Do you want to learn about other cultures? How about expanding in your own neighborhood? Get to know people there. Ask questions. Your soul is asking you every day, what are we here for? What would you like to learn? I am of service. How would you like to do this? It's time for you to allow your head and your heart to be part of that too. And ask of others what it is that you need. They may not be able to provide, they may not be able to respond, but that'll give you some information, won't it? Period. After you ask, make a statement. You've asked, you've gotten some information. Now make a statement about who you are, how you are, why you are, where you are, what you are. Make a statement to yourself first and foremost. Look yourself in that mirror and make a statement. Supportive statement, uplifting statement, truthful statement. Acknowledge something of yourself that you know is true and run with it, babe. Like, make a statement. When you have a meeting, instead of asking permission in the room to speak up about what you know, make a statement. When you recognize something is out of balance in your relationship, make a statement. Make a kind statement in all of these situations. You may need to make a firm statement. Someone is being a real doofus in public, make a statement. Make a statement. If you know yourself well enough, when you make a statement, you will come from a place of empowerment and you can make a difference. But if you don't have an opinion and you don't know yourself and you bounce all over the place to what other people think or what is going on, from 10 years ago that's still rolling around in your head, you are not making a statement. You are living a run-on sentence. You are bouncing from one thing to another. When you make a statement, you actually employ the pause as well. So let's make a statement. Okay, I want to hear some statements. Send me some statements about yourself. Make them supportive. I want to hear that you're practicing a statement of commitment. What is it that you said you'd do today? Did you follow through? Make that statement. Make it something that you can accomplish easily so that you can also make a statement of appreciation about yourself. And finally, told you it was going to be a short episode. Exclaim. Exclamation. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate what you already know. Then go get yourself some quotes and learn more. Then make a pause and exclaim that you've made a pause. Speak of your wonderfulness with humbleness thrown in there, but clarity. Let people know what you're great at. Speak up and make an exclamation of what you love in life. Do you love pancakes? I do. Make an exclamation about that. Do you love the intricacies of relationships? Make a statement, exclamation point. Are you someone who loves sci-fi? Well, embrace that. Make a statement. Are you someone who is learning how to make more nutritious meals for yourself? You make a statement. You claim that. You celebrate yourself. Did you walk 10 feet further than you walked yesterday? You better be exclaiming about that. You better be celebrating yourself. Did you put your laundry away after you washed them, dried them, folded them? This was one of my commitments in my Wisdom Wednesday group to someone because I had asked her to do a laundry related thing. And I said, you know what? I will commit to you that rather than having them sit so neatly in my basket for a couple days, I will put them away immediately after folding them on top of the dryer. Yes, I do not carry them anywhere else. I fold them and I hang things right at the dryer. I put it away and I texted her and said, I want you to know I've met my accountability and now I'm celebrating. And she asked me, because she has coached with me, she asked me if I did my high five to myself. And I said, I didn't, but I did brag to Mike that I got it done. So I then did my high five and I did my happy dance because I believe that if we physically acknowledge it, it gets into our system and into our brain, and then it becomes that much easier to do the next time. And celebrating yourself is not going to take the joy away from someone else. It's going to be an example of what joy is, and it's going to be something that is contagious. So exclaim, celebrate yourself, put that multiple exclamation points. They're not permissible in writing in proper grammar, but they are permissible here. So you celebrate. The purpose of punctuation is to help us pause, is to get the meaning of what that statement was. It's to get the inference, yes, but also to get the intelligence that there is there, the message that is there. It's vitally important that we take these moments to timestamp our lives too. If you're always running to the next thing, you are not present. You deserve to experience a life of presence. And so if you're raising young people, they deserve your presence in their life too, and not a distractibility and always thinking about what's next. When we do that, we take away from the joy of what's here. Have you ever just sat outside and listened to the birds? Just listened to the birds. Just take a moment to let that in. It's calming to your adrenal system, and punctuation can be helpful in receiving this calming healing. So the next time you are in traffic and it's not moving and you're using a few too many exclamation points, I need you to dial it back and say, you know what? I am in a semicolon situation right here. I am in pause, and I'm going to take the pause and I'm going to take some deep breaths. What could I learn from this? You never realized that grammar, English, and writing was so important when you were learning it, did you? The life lessons that are included everywhere if we're just willing to pay attention. I am exclaiming how much I appreciate you listening to this. I am absolutely certain that you will take this lesson and run with it and learn to pause and then educate yourself some more on what is it that brings you joy, and then pause in that, experience it, and then exclaim it to the world. Thank you so much for being here. I am going to put a period on this episode, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to this episode of Intuition, Your Success Compass. I appreciate you being here. If you would like more information about developing your intuitive skills, removing those blocks, and creating the life that feels the most successful to you, then head on over to vickibaird.com. That's VICKIBAIRD.com, and check out the courses, the groups, and the Spaces app that will allow you to be part of our community and know about upcoming events and specials. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.